Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, Jackson Kellogg, and today we'll be doing my first ever mock draft on this channel. So, I attempted doing one on the live stream a few weeks ago, and then news started to come in, and we got distracted, and then, never finished it. So, today will be my first official mock draft, and starting out this mock draft. So, there are going to be no trades, just going to be best pick that I think they can do. So starting right off here, number 1 overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm a big fan of Gardner Minshew, but I don't necessarily think that Jaguars are going to keep Minshew. It's been pretty known that the Jaguars are going to take a quarterback, and there's a very big quarterback that the Jaguars have been looking at. So very good quarterback. Waiting for him to have his name called. It's just been known that it's going to happen. Even Urban Meyer came out and said, oh, this is the guy we're taking, blah, 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 blah. Trey Lance out of North Dakota State has been such a great quarterback over there. Undefeated as a starter. Had a great season over there. No talent to use, and he still did very well. So, not surprised it's going to be the pick. Think it'll be a very good pick for them. At number 2, the New York Jets. The Jets have themselves a quarterback controversy, as they have Sam Darnold, or they're going to go in a different direction at quarterback. And I do think that chance does have a possibility of happening. And I do think the Jets do take a quarterback. I don't think Sam Darnold is very good, and I think they're going to move on from him this offseason. And with that pick, I think they're going to take Kyle Trask out of Florida. Trask did very well with Florida this past season, coming in after they got rid of Felipe Franks. He went over to Arkansas, but now Trask, he did very well in his year with Florida, throwing to Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney. I think it'll be a very good fit for the Jets there at the 2nd overall pick. The San Francisco 49ers recently traded up to the 3rd overall pick. And with this in mind, they gave away three first round picks, right? So you're expecting they're going to come up here, get something big. There's been talks of what's going to happen with Jimmy Garoppolo. But you know what? I think this trade, it's a no-brainer for them. They're going to trade up and take Najee Harris out of Alabama. Dude was a beast at running back for the Crimson Tide. Does very well. Most of the Alabama running backs who have come out over the last few years have done very well for them. And I think Kyle Shanahan would love having Najee Harris added to his offense. At number 4, the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have done not very good over the last few years. They've been known as choke artists ever since 28-3. And, they've had trouble keeping talent around since then. Whether it's it's been very debated as to what they should do. But I think the move here is very clear in what should be done. I think the Falcons should take Ja'Marr Chase out of LSU. Ja'Marr Chase, you've got Julio, you've got Calvin Ridley, you've got Russell Gage. Why not just add Ja'Marr Chase into that mix? I think would do very well for the Falcons. You could go 4 receiver sets. Just go crazy. Boom. Good play for the Falcons there. At number 5, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Listen, Joe Burrow needs tremendous help on that offense. Has no offensive line. Lost a few receivers this offseason in A.J. Green and John Ross. Granted, not great, but they did lose that. So Joe Burrow does need some help. But the defense also isn't very good. And with that in mind, they brought in a bunch of help. I think the Bengals, they're going to go in and bring in Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Great defensive lineman from there. Has started climbing up the draft boards all the way up at this point to where I think possibly 5th overall pick will do great wonders for the Bengals here. At number 6, the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, you know, they've drafted Tua last year. He didn't necessarily play the best in that spot. Ryan Fitzpatrick kept having to come in from. I think at this point, the Dolphins take Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence did well for Clemson. You get an old Clemson-Alabama rivalry over there with the Dolphins. See what happens in that situation. They traded back with the 49ers and then traded back up with the Eagles. I think the Trevor Lawrence move makes sense there because it doesn't seem like they're very committed to Tua right now. At number 7, the Detroit Lions. The Lions completely revamping their team. They got rid of Matt Stafford, brought in a whole new coaching staff. Dan Campbell, former tight ends coach over at the New Orleans Saints, has done great wonders. We all know how the Lions like their first-round tight ends. Why don't we give them another in giving the Lions Kyle Pitts for the Detroit Lions, going out there, get two tight end sets, in TJ Hockenson and Kyle Pitts. Will give Jared Goff plenty of receivers to work with. Who needs a wide receiver when you can have two tight ends, At number 8, the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, they're not sold on Teddy Bridgewater. He did not play great last year, probably does not deserve the money he's getting paid this year. So, the Panthers will most likely be looking to try and trade up, get a better quarterback. But, I don't know if quarterback is the right pick for them. They do have many other needs in other spots, and I think running back is their biggest need right now. And I think they take Travis Etienne at the 8th overall spot. Etienne did well as a running back for multiple years over at Clemson. Even chose not to enter the draft last year to boost his stock even more this year. Now he's a first-round running back who goes 8th overall to the Carolina Panthers. At number 9, listen, the Broncos, we don't know what they're going to be doing at the quarterback position. They've drafted quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, and are they sold on Drew Lock or not? And I think we're going to see a little bit more of a competition here as the Denver Broncos draft Mac Jones, another tall white kid, to come in under John Elway, just another on the long line of quarterbacks to go over with almost similar dynamics, just to go over to the Denver Broncos and probably have their careers ruined. At number 10, Dak Prescott's Cowboys. Dak Prescott signed massive deal with the Cowboys this offseason because that offense did not look very good with him on the field. But, Jerry Jones is a stubborn man. He eventually had to pay Dak Prescott. But even with that being said, he's going to get revenge on Dak Prescott, and he's going to go out and draft Justin Fields with the 10th overall pick. Justin Fields, great quarterback coming out of Ohio State. Listen, who cares that no Ohio State quarterback has ever done well in the NFL? Don't look at Dwayne Haskins. Don't look at JT Barrett. Just ignore all that. Justin Fields is going to come and be a great quarterback for the Cowboys and compete with Dak Prescott for the job. At number 11, the New York Football Giants. They signed Leonard Williams to a nice deal. They've got Dexter Lawrence on the defensive line. They brought in Adoree Jackson. The defense looks very good right now. And they also gave pieces to Daniel Jones to work with. They've got some offensive linemen finally. But is Daniel Jones the answer? And I think at this point, the New York Giants just say, screw it, and draft Zach Wilson with the 11th overall pick. See, because Daniel Jones, he hasn't looked great. And at this point, you just say, screw it, throw Daniel Jones out to the pasture, and see what you can get with this big arm-throwing kid in Zach Wilson. At number 12, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Eagles, they've had some quarterback controversy recently, but they traded away Carson Wentz to the Colts, and they're rocking with Jalen Hurts. And, they do have some very dire needs all over the place. Could generally use someone at all different positions right now, whether it's a receiver, tight ends. But I will say they do have one dire need, and that would be at right guard. And that's going to be Elijah Vera Tucker, who's going to go over there and play guard for the Philadelphia Eagles. Help bolster that offensive line that is always injured, even though they have Brandon Brooks over there. Get rid of Brandon Brooks, throw Elijah Vera Tucker in. Brandon Brooks, he's not even that good anyway. At 13, the LA Chargers. The Chargers have had very up and down games, but one thing that has done the worst for them is their special teams. So, if it wasn't so difficult to find special teams in here, I would easily just go draft a special teamer, because that would be the most beneficial to the Chargers right now. But it won't let me, because they don't like putting special teams players in the draft list, which is I think is unfair as a guy who likes punting around the ball. Special teams deserves some love every now and then, and they don't get that. So we're going to do the next best thing, and instead of getting them that, we're going to get them another inside linebacker in Micah Parsons. They just got Kenneth Murray. Denzel Perryman just left. They don't need that many other things. Like, their offensive line, people say it's awful. Best offensive line in the league. They're going to go get Micah Parsons, who does have off-the-field issues, but Chargers, one of the best places for that to be changed. At 14, the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins is looking good over there with all of his different weapons. And why not give him one more and giving him Javonte Williams, running back out of North Carolina. Javonte Williams has done very well at the running back position for the University of North Carolina. And I think it is a great fit over there with the Minnesota Vikings. Gives another runner for Kirk Cousins to work with, and forces more defenders in the box for Thielen and Justin Jefferson to work with. Now, over here at my New England Patriots, we have a dire need at quarterback, as I don't think Cam Newton is the answer. We have wide receivers that we could use bolstering, could use some help in the linebacking area. But Patriots, we're going to take Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. Bill Belichick loves his defensive backs. You can never have too many, according to him. And we just draft another one. Everyone says, Patriots always draft a bust defensive back in the second round. We're going to do it in the first round this time. At the 16th pick, the Arizona Cardinals, almost every mock draft I have seen has the Cardinals taking J.C. Horn at this spot. Don't think it's going to happen. I think at this point, the Arizona Cardinals, they have DeAndre Hopkins, they have Christian Kirk, they've got all these other guys. They don't have a tight end, so it's at this point that they take Brevin Jordan out of Miami. The Cardinals could use a tight end to work with, help Kyler Murray be able to have an outlet throw, and Brevin Jordan can bring that for the Cardinals. At 17, the Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr, I think, is the best quarterback for these guys to work with here. And I don't think it's up for much debate either. So at this point, the defense needs the most help for the Raiders, but they also have gotten rid of a bunch of offensive linemen. But it's at this point that the Raiders take Trevon Moehrig out of TCU to give them some help in the safety room. Trevon Moehrig, easily the highest graded safety in this class. Not much a debate for that. Some even say he might not even be a first round pick. At this point, I think he is. I think he's a beast. And he's going to go do some great things for the Raiders. Knock on wood if you're with me. At 18, the Miami Dolphins again picking. They just took Trevor Lawrence. You know, they have Trevor Lawrence. Might as well get him a receiver that Trevor Lawrence has worked with in wide receiver Amari Rodgers out of Clemson. Amari Rodgers has worked very well with Trevor Lawrence in the past year. Amari Rodgers did very well. And I think he's the best wide receiver coming out of Clemson right now. Will do much wonders for the Miami Dolphins this year, helping their wide receiver core, giving Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, another receiver to their room. The Washington football team, they have some needs. They've got the offensive line. They could use some more help on the defense, maybe a receiver. But see, Dan Snyder is their owner, and Dan Snyder always gives his offer on the pick. But this time, Dan Snyder doesn't offer his opinion on the pick. And the front office is like, oh no, what do we do? They're picking for themselves for once. And they get scared, and they don't know what to do. And they accidentally submit for quarterback Kellen Mond to throw in another quarterback to their quarterbacking room on top of Ryan Fitzmagic, Taylor Heineke, and Kyle Allen. Why not just have a whole bunch of quarterbacks you don't know what's going to happen? Throw them with a good defense and see what happens. Worked for you last year. At 20, the Chicago Bears desperately want a quarterback. But at this point, all the quarterbacks that you could want are off the board and more. But at this point, the Bears are like, we need a quarterback. So they're like, what do we do? They can't trade. Well, they can, but not in this mock draft. So they say, screw it. We're going to take the next best development project. We're going to take Sam Ehlinger out of Texas. Sam Ehlinger at one point projected to be at least a day 2 pick, possibly a day 1 pick many eons ago. But that was before Texas sucked last year, and so did Ehlinger. So Ehlinger's draft stock plummeted. But it's at this point that the Bears do the most Bear thing possible and go get a mediocre quarterback who they think they could develop to be an all-star and carry them to the Super Bowl. At 21, the Indianapolis Colts. They're like looking around like, hey, we brought in Carson Wentz. Our defense looks good. What do we need? So they're looking around. They're like, all right, we could use some receivers. Could use some offensive. No. I know what we need. We need another linebacker. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame gonna go into an already filled linebacking core for the Indianapolis Colts and help them out, giving them another versatile weapon to work with, as the Notre Dame prospect did very well in his time there and will help the Colts significantly on that defense, something that they have not done very well with the last few years. At 22, the Tennessee Titans. The last time the Tennessee Titans had a first-round pick, they drafted an offensive tackle that played only 4 snaps and got traded away for a 7th-round pick swap. What happens this time? The Titans take another offensive tackle at this point, maybe a better one, in Penei Sewell out of Oregon. He took the year off last year because of COVID, but he's still one of the top offensive lineman prospects, and the Titans are going to hope to do better on this pick this time and hope that this time maybe Sewell will play 5 snaps instead of 4. At 23, the New York Jets back on the board again after taking Kyle Trask earlier. Sorry, almost forgot what stud the Jets were taking. So many studs were taken early on. The Jets take a quarterback, so they're like, well, what better to get a quarterback than a cornerback to go with them? So it's at this point the Jets take not J.C. Horn, not Caleb Farley, but Aaron Robinson out of UCF. Aaron Robinson has done well for the University of Central Florida. He's been bounced in and out of first-round mock drafts, but it's at this point that the Jets, they take someone who they think can fit their scheme and do wonders for their team. At 24, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they bring back Ben Roethlisberger, even though he's done. His arm is shot. And they think everything is just going to go well and fine and dandy. So, even though they have dire needs, they lost a few corners. They could use some help on the offensive line. They could use a running back. No. They're going to take Jalen Waddle out of Alabama because the Steelers do nothing but draft good receivers. So why not give them another good receiver to pair with? Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, the Canadian kid, I forget his name at the moment, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and now Jalen Waddle. Screw it, let's just run 5 receiver sets and see how it goes. That's the Steelers' outlook at this moment. And they get another receiver for a quarterback who can't throw the ball. At 25, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They take a quarterback at the start. They took Trey Lance to help them out in the quarterback room. Jaguars just have needs all over the place. Urban Meyer, a former Ohio State guy, he's looking, could use more Ohio State guys, but he's like, no, we don't need any more from Ohio State here. We need to get Trey Lance, somebody he's worked with before. And it's at this point that the Jacksonville Jaguars take Dylan Redun's offensive tackle out of North Dakota State. What better than to pair your Division II quarterback with his Division II offensive lineman? Seems like a great mix for the Jaguars to do. Help out the Jaguars on that offensive line and get Trey Lance, someone he's worked with before. At number 26, the Browns. They could use some more depth on their defense that played very well last year. The offense looks very well. The offensive line looks good for once. Baker Mayfield showing up. But they want to get more help on this offense. And that's when they go draft Ohio State running back Trey Sermon. They've got Nick Chubb and they've got Kareem Hunt. But why not just have a triple running back head? Will help the Browns out so much and just make it so all these guys never tired and they just keep working. At 27, the Baltimore Ravens. They've lost a bunch of defensive pieces. They could use a receiver. But no, not at this point. The Ravens, at this point, they say, we've looked. We're going to say, you know what? We're going to take Kwity Paye, edge, out of Michigan because the Harbaughs, they talk, they're like, hey, Kwity Paye, you looked very good this offseason. You looked very good for us. Oh, a Michigan State linebacker, or a Michigan linebacker? Hey, I'll take him, blah, 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 blah. So another Michigan edge rusher goes after Uche and Winovich have both gone to the Patriots past year. They're like, no more edge rushers to the Patriots from Michigan. Honestly, no more Michigan players to the Patriots because they always play really well. This time, the Harbaughs work together and send Kwity Paye over to the Baltimore Ravens. At 28, the New Orleans Saints. They just lost Drew Brees, their quarterback, who they've had forever. They've had to do some reworking all across the board. But one thing they could use is some more offensive linemen. They're going to take offensive tackle Rashawn Slater. They've got Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead, but why not go with 6 offensive linemen? Just throw another offensive tackle on there who's star caliber, and Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. Will really help Jameis be able to stay in the pocket longer and throw more interceptions. At 29, only 4 more picks to go in this mock draft, I think super accurate. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers proved that they shouldn't have taken a quarterback last year. But I don't think the Packers learned from that mistake, as in this draft, they take quarterback Felipe Franks out of Arkansas. This is a big brain move here. Jordan Love was to put the first chip on Rodgers' shoulder. They're like, all right. Rodgers is like, all right, I proved myself. We're good. Packers go out and get yet another quarterback to throw behind him. He's like, come on now. I could have used a receiver. Could have used some more. I could have used a center with Corey Linsley leaving. No. The Packers like, we'll just keep drafting quarterbacks in the first round, and Aaron Rodgers will have to play good forever. At least that's their thought process. At 30, the Buffalo Bills, they don't need a quarterback, so we're not going to give them a quarterback, This draft has already been very quarterback heavy, with about 8 quarterbacks going in the first round, the most ever in a draft at this point. They've brought in receivers. They've got Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders. They've got talent on that offensive line. They could use another offensive tackle. They're going to get Christian Darrisaw to help with their running game that they use all the time. They power run so much with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. Not even funny. Josh Allen throws the ball, but very rarely. It's kind of like the opposite of the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's always chucking the rock. No. The Bills, they run the ball. They're going to get another offensive lineman to solidify that, and they're just going to keep punching the rock. At 31, the Kansas City Chiefs, they got shut down in the Super Bowl. They're like, we need some help. That help comes in the form of a tight end, as they will draft Tommy Tremble out of Notre Dame. He had Ian Book throwing him the football, but his tape looks great. He's going to be an all-star tight end in the NFL, and he goes to the Chiefs, who just know how to use weapon after weapon. Yes, they've got Travis Kelce, but you could go 2 tight end sets now just to add another formation to your already massive playbook. Wait, you're asking about defense? No, the Chiefs, they're doing this thing called just trying to score as much as they can and not have to worry about a defense. It's the Chiefs' philosophy. Now, at the 32nd overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won the Super Bowl last year, killing the Chiefs in that game. Brady wins his 7th ring. It's at this point that I see nothing better to do than just to get Brady a better receiver. Devontae Smith is still on the board for some reason, and that's who they will draft with the 32nd overall pick. Devontae Smith has been a great receiver for Alabama, won the Heisman. Don't understand why he fell this far. Buccaneers get another receiver to add to their already devastating mix. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, possibly Antonio Brown. Buccaneers just keep on getting better. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to check the date on this for no reason. But hope you all enjoyed. Hope you stick around for future videos. Would help a lot. We're at 48 subscribers right now. Would love to get to 50. It'd be a first great milestone to hit after having this channel for about over 6 months now. Would be awesome. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and happy April Fools.